Hey Celtics Nation, what a weekend we just lived through. If you thought the in-season cup didn't matter, think again. Because Friday night in Philly, the Boston Celtics looked like a team that wanted that W more than anyone in the building. The floor was blue, the lights were bright, and by the end of the night, the Sixers were feeling blue too. 109-108, Boston escapes with the kind of victory that leaves you exhausted but smiling. It wasn't perfect, not even close, but it was gritty, wild, and everything you want for a rivalry game. From the opening tip, it felt like the Celtics came out swinging, putting up 38 points in the first quarter and immediately quieting the crowd at Wells Fargo Center. That's how you set the tone. It looked like they were ready to run away with it, but of course, nothing with the Celtics ever comes that easy. The Sixers punched back, cutting the lead little by little, and by the third quarter, it was starting to feel like the kind of nightmare finish that we've seen before. But even with some messy possessions down the stretch, Boston held firm. Joel Embiid tried to take over in the final minute, but his buzzer beater didn't matter. The game was already ours. First cup win of the season secured, and more importantly, another sign that this group is learning how to close. Now, let's talk about the lineup, because that's where things start getting interesting. Josh Minott was still in the starting five, and honestly, he's making it hard to take him out. He's not out there hunting highlights. He's doing the dirty work, playing with effort, and that's exactly what this team needs. It's crazy to think that just a few weeks ago, no one expected him to be a regular starter, but here we are. Nemi Quetta got the nod as well and brought great energy in his 19 minutes. Derek White was solid as usual. Jaylen Brown kept being Jaylen Brown, and Peyton Pritchard, man, he's still trying to find that shooting rhythm. You can feel it coming, though. Every time he lets one fly, you think this has to be the one, but the rim just keeps being cruel. Still, his confidence hasn't dipped. He keeps impacting the game in other ways, moving the ball, defending hard, diving for loose balls. You can tell he knows the shots will start falling sooner or later. Off the bench, Hugo brought pure chaos in the best way possible. 15 minutes of nonstop energy, chasing rebounds like his life depended on it, poking at passing lanes, making hustle plays that don't always show up in the box score. Plus 10 in his limited time. That says it all. And after hearing the broadcasters correct the pronunciation of his name, it's time we all start saying it right. Hugo. The guy's winning fans fast, and honestly, he's the kind of spark plug that every contending team needs over the long season. Anthony Simons led the reserves with 19 points, hitting some big shots to keep momentum alive when the offense got stagnant. Sam Hauser also chipped in with his usual dose of spacing, pulling defenders out to the perimeter. Luke Garza gave solid minutes, setting big screens, hitting open looks, and showing that even limited minutes can have a big impact. The Celtics, as a team, dominated the glass, 45 total rebounds, and 16 of those on the offensive end. That kind of hustle wins games. Hugo had 3 offensive boards, Minott grabbed 3, Hauser grabbed 3, and you could feel how that second-chance energy wore the Sixers down. That's the kind of identity that wins in April and May. And then there's Jaylen Brown. If anyone still had questions about whether he could be efficient while carrying the scoring load, I hope they're watching. 13 for 19 from the field, over 53% shooting on the season, averaging 25 points for rebounds and 4 assists per game. He's been cooking. What's crazy is how smooth it looks. He's not forcing shots. He's taking what the defense gives him and punishing every small mistake. The chemistry between him and White is improving every game, and you can see the trust building in those quick hit plays where one sets up the other. Even with all that, not everything was perfect. The turnover in the final seconds, Jaylen got trapped near half court, lost control, and suddenly the Sixers had life again. Those moments are stressful, especially when the ghosts of opening night start creeping back into your head. But this time, Boston didn't crumble. They stayed locked in and closed it out. That's growth. That's what you want to see. So yeah, 1-0 in the cup. You can joke about the blue court all you want, but a win is a win, and for a team still trying to solidify its identity early in the season, that matters. And if you ask me, I care about the cup. These games might not feel like the playoffs, but they build habits that show up when the games really count. Then came Saturday, and things got real again. Back-to-back games are always tricky, especially when the second one is against a young, physical Houston Rockets squad that's been playing like a team on a mission. Boston had just emptied the tank the night before in Philly, traveled back home, and you could see it in their legs. The energy just wasn't the same. Houston's length, size, and athleticism were a problem from the jump. The Rockets looked fresh, while Boston looked like a team trying to find a second win that never came. Still, there were some bright spots. Baylor Shyman came off the bench firing, knocking down corner threes like it was a shooting drill. That's exactly the kind of contribution that can keep him in the rotation. 17 points and 5 rebounds in just over 20 minutes. Exactly what you want from a role player trying to earn trust. Jordan Walsh also got some run and showed flashes, but this was Houston's night. They crushed Boston on the boards, 53-36, and their size advantage was overwhelming. Even though the Celtics grabbed more offensive rebounds, they couldn't stop Houston's second chance scoring on the other end. Kevin Durant was in vintage form. 26 points on 8 for 11 shooting, totally in control. Jabari Smith Jr. swatted everything near the rim with 4 blocks. Alperen Sengun was bullying inside. Even the bench guys like Tari Eason and Clint Capella came in and dominated the paint. When that kind of front court keeps rotating on you, there's not much you can do when your legs are heavy from the night before. Pritchard again couldn't get the long ball to drop, going 1 for 4 from 3, but still managing 14 points by attacking and drawing contact. Minot had one of those nights where he showed both brilliance and inexperience. He made a slick steal, started a fast break, and then tried a behind-the-back pass straight out of a video game tutorial. It went exactly how you'd imagine. Turnover, Houston bucket, timeout, and Minot straight to the bench. You could see Joe Mazzulla wasn't having it. That's the learning curve, though. Young guys make bold plays, and sometimes they pay off, sometimes they don't. You just hope the coach lets them play through it eventually, but Mazzulla's not wrong to demand precision. The margin for error on this team is small. Jaylen Brown had a quiet 12 points, and the rest of the starters didn't see heavy minutes once it became clear the comeback wasn't happening. Quetta, Pritchard, and White all played under 20 minutes. Shyman's hot shooting was the lone offensive spark. Houston's size and physicality were just too much. They out-rebounded Boston by 15 and blocked shots like they were running a volleyball drill. By the end, even Jeff Green and former Celtic J.D. Davison were getting run, which tells you everything you need to know about how the night went. So, 1-1 for the weekend, 3-4 on the season. It's not perfect, but it's also not panic time. The goal was always to stay around 500 through the first 10 games because of the rough schedule, and that's exactly where they are. There are winnable games ahead against Utah and Washington before facing Orlando. What's clear is that this team has heart, depth, and a ton of potential. It's just about consistency now. The East is still wide open, with everyone bunched up and no team looking unbeatable. The Celtics just need to stay steady, build chemistry, and let that energy we saw in Philly become the standard night after night. If there's one thing that keeps jumping out early in this season, it's how unpredictable the Eastern Conference feels. Nobody's running away with it, and every night looks like a coin toss. The Celtics, sitting just below the play-in line at 3 wins and 4 losses, are right in that middle pack, but you can sense that something's brewing. The team isn't playing perfect basketball yet, but the chemistry, the rotation, and the energy on both ends of the floor are starting to take shape. You can see Joe Mazzulla experimenting with combinations, giving young guys real opportunities, and trying to find out who can handle pressure. And while the standings don't look pretty, it doesn't tell the full story of what's happening behind the scenes. Jaylen Brown has stepped into his role as a leader, and it shows. His shot selection is smarter, his defense tighter, and there's a calm confidence to his game that spreads through the lineup. He's no longer trying to prove he belongs next to the stars of the league. He already does. Instead, he's focused on winning possessions, setting the tone, and being the reliable engine that drives this team when things get shaky. You can see it in the way the team rallies around him after a big dunk or a defensive stop. And when he gets cooking early, the Celtics offense just flows differently. Then there's Derek White, who continues to be one of the most underrated guards in the league. He hasn't been knocking down shots at the rate we've seen before, but his impact doesn't fade. He defends, facilitates, and constantly makes the right read. You watch a full game and maybe don't notice his box score right away, but when you go back, you realize he was part of almost every important play. That's what makes him invaluable. He's the kind of player who helps a team even when his shot isn't falling. Peyton Pritchard, though, man, his situation is a bit frustrating to watch because you can see how much he wants it. Every time he releases the ball from beyond the arc, the form is perfect, the confidence is there, but the results just haven't followed yet. 18% from deep on high volume is rough, especially for someone known for his shooting. But shooters go through stretches like this. You can tell he's still playing with poise, still attacking, still setting up teammates. The law of averages will catch up, and when it does, it's going to come in a flurry. The moment those shots start falling, this Celtics offense will look completely different. The real revelation so far, though, has been the energy coming from the bench. Guys like Hugo and Minot have injected a different kind of life into this roster. Hugo plays with no hesitation, crashing the boards, hustling for every loose ball, and bringing a contagious level of effort that changes the tempo of games. He's not afraid to make mistakes, and that's what you want from a young player trying to carve out a role. Every minute he gets, he treats it like it could be his last, and fans are loving it. Minot, on the other hand, has been all about seizing opportunity. No one expected him to be in the starting five this early, but his energy, athleticism, and toughness have earned him that spot. He's not out there to put up 20 a night. He's out there to set a tone. Even Luke Garza deserves a shout-out. He might not light up the stat sheet, but he's doing exactly what Boston needs from its bigs off the bench. He sets massive screens, boxes out, and hits open jumpers when the defense collapses. It's not flashy basketball, but it's winning basketball. That's the kind of depth you need if you want to be taken seriously as a contender. And how about the rebounding? 16 offensive boards against the Sixers, out-hustling them for second chances and extra possessions. That's the kind of stat that tells you a lot about where a team's mindset is. They're not giving up on plays. They're scrapping. They're putting in the work even when the shots aren't falling. It's those small things that separate teams who talk about winning from teams who actually do it. Of course, the schedule hasn't done them any favors. Back-to-backs, travel days, and matchups against bigger, more rested teams can wear down even the best squads. The loss to Houston was a reminder that effort doesn't always equal results when fatigue sets in. The Rockets had more size, more legs, and more rhythm that night. But there's no shame in losing on the second night of a back-to-back, especially when the team still fought hard until the fourth quarter. Those are the kinds of lessons that help you in the long run. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. Boston is buzzing tonight with what could be the NBA's blockbuster move of the decade. Rumors have been swirling for weeks, but sources close to the situation suggest it's finally happening. Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak and two-time MVP, has reportedly agreed to join the Boston Celtics. While nothing has been officially confirmed, the city is already bracing for a seismic shift in the league's power dynamics. Insiders claim that Giannis was captivated by the Celtics' storied history, the promise of playing alongside a young, hungry roster, and the chance to chase a championship in one of the NBA's most basketball-obsessed cities. The Greek superstar's decision marks the end of an era in Milwaukee, where he became a living legend and delivered a championship. But now Boston appears to be the new frontier for his unparalleled combination of size, skill, and versatility. Fans in Boston are already flooding social media with speculation, mock-ups of Giannis in green, and feverish discussions about how the team might line up next season. Analysts are weighing the implications. The Celtics, already considered title contenders, could now wield one of the most physically dominant players the league has ever seen. Defensive schemes, offensive rotations, and even the hierarchy of the Eastern Conference could be upended overnight. While the financial details remain murky, insiders hint that Boston has pulled out all the stops to make this dream a reality. Whether it's a record-breaking contract, luxury accommodations, or the promise of a superstar-friendly environment, the Celtics clearly went all in. Meanwhile, the NBA world is holding its breath. If Giannis really does land in Boston, expect a tidal wave of trade rumors, team shakeups, and a frenzied countdown to the new season. For now, the city waits, caught between disbelief and exhilaration. One thing is clear. If this rumor proves true, the Celtics won't just be in the hunt. They could redefine the very notion of dominance in the NBA. And for Boston fans, the word on everyone's lips is simple. Welcome home, Giannis. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.